Today on Monkey Life, a baby marmoset is looking for a new mum and dad.
You're gonna have to be brave. I know. You're gonna have to be brave. Good girl.
Bachelor chimp Paco is in the wars with an injured toe.
I'd cut that whole bit off.
And a heart scare.
I think that's just going to cause more problems than good. It's not going to ultimately benefit him in any way, is it?
Plus, the nursery orangs box clever at playtime. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
They're all going to have a chance to live proper lives again. Perfect.
The park provides a home for more than 250 monkeys and apes from 20 different species. It's been a busy time at the park with a series of arrivals.
That's a big noise.
And departures.
You've been a really good girl.
Keeping the whole team on their toes.
Good girl. Okay?
With so many animals needing care, there's no end to their work.
Yeah, well then.
And sadly, with the primate pet trade in the UK on the rise, the demands on the park keep increasing. In the last few years, they've been inundated with marmosets needing rescue. To meet demand, 2 new complexes were built to house these tiny monkeys, but they're already full to capacity. Today, despite this, Alison has travelled to Cardiff to meet up with Sophie from the RSPCA. The charity has been told about a young marmoset, about 4 months old, being kept in a high-rise flat in the city centre. They've persuaded the owner to let the youngster come to Monkey World. The fact this little one is so young is what makes a difference.
If the marmosets come to Monkey World and they're 9 to 10 months old or younger, they appear as babies and they still have very baby-like behavior, and we can give them to a rehabilitated adult pair at the park who will adopt the infants. So luckily for little Moon, she's young enough that I think that we'll be able to get her back to the park and get her adopted.
Moon's owner bought her after seeing an advert on the internet. She paid about £1,000 for the marmoset.
How long have you had her?
A month and a couple of days.
Okay.
Yeah, I bought her.
After speaking to Alison, she's realised Moon will be happier living with her own species under the expert care Monkey World can provide, and she's happy to cooperate. The majority of people who buy small primates from the pet trade are unaware what keeping one actually entails. But Sophie from the RSPCA is aware that it's a specialist job, which is why she's called in Alison.
Primates is something that we have very little knowledge of. It's not something that we see every day. It's not something we see every year. And when we do get a case like this, we need to go to the experts who can help us provide what that animal needs. We just don't have the knowledge of everything.
Good girl.
Alison wants to assess Moon first and gain her trust before attempting to handle her.
It's great that she's so active, but, you know, really at this age, what she needs most of all is adult marmosets to be living with and looking after. She should still be with her parents. So probably 4 months old is probably a fair estimate, I would say. She's clearly very playful.
You're gonna have to be brave. I know. You're gonna have to be brave. Good girl.
Alison is keen to get as much information as possible from the owner about her dealings with the breeder and what she was told about the tiny monkey.
The other question, Did he sell you a common marmoset? Do you remember? Or just a marmoset?
Just a one.
Yeah, because I think she might end up being, it's hard to say. She's so young, it's hard to say whether she is going to grow white ear tufts and so on, but she's a very dark color. So it might be that she's a black-eared marmoset. The two species are very, very closely related. So if I can convince her to walk into the box willingly, are you okay? Do you need to say goodbye to her first of all? Are you okay if I get her to go inside the box?
Yeah, we can.
Alison has managed to establish a bond of trust with Moon, and with the help of a few waxworms, the young marmoset goes happily into the box. But for her owner, it's not so easy.
You're being very strong, and I can say thank you for Moon, because we will give her a family back again. All right, my sister, you come and visit us, please. Okay, thank you. I will let you know how she goes.
It's an emotional goodbye, but her owner knows Moon is off to a much better and happier life. In the last few months, there's been a lot of change at the park's orangutan nursery, especially for the two youngest members, Bulu Mata and Rika. Both arrived at the park as babies and were hand-reared by staff at the park's creche for orphaned orangs. They were carefully introduced to their new Monkey World family, meeting new friends one at a time. And there were high hopes they would all live harmoniously as one group. Unfortunately, those hopes were dashed when 7-year-old Jin, who was born at the park, became too boisterous in the play sessions with the two youngsters. So, for the time being, it's been decided to run the nursery as two separate groups, with Bulu and Rika staying with Oshin and 6-year-old Sylvester, and Xiao Kuai staying with her two children, Jin, and 4-year-old adopted daughter, Awan. For the primate care team, this means balancing the two groups. So while they're keeping one happy inside, the other gets to play outside. Today, at the outdoor enclosure, staff are distributing cardboard boxes filled with sunflower seeds and covered with wood wool, and it's Xiao Kuai, Awan and Jin's turn to have full run. Orangs love a new challenge, and this is a real treat for the youngsters. What child doesn't love a cardboard box? Meanwhile, inside, Oshin's gang of kids have the playroom all to themselves for fun and frolics. Jin's approach is tentative before his stomach gets the better of him. While Xiao Kuai is determined to shake every last seed from the wood wool. And clever Awan is carefully picking up any leftover seeds spilt by her mum and brother. Meanwhile, inside the nursery, it's raining food. And where there's food to be had, the usually lethargic Oshin will suddenly make an energetic appearance. Rika is grabbing her share while she can. Bulu tries to tempt Oshin up to play. With no success. But luckily, fellow boisterous boy Sylvester is happy to oblige. Outside, the boxes have all gone down a storm. While Jin is still searching for sunflower seeds, Xiao Kuai watches as her daughter Awan proves that, for her, a cardboard box or two is all you need to have fun. But trying to fit one box inside the other is proving rather difficult. So she makes a cardboard house instead. The park is home to 4 groups of chimpanzees. Hananya has been in charge of his troop of 18 chimps since 2004. His leadership style is brawn over brain, but seems to work. And then there's Paddy's gang, 17 boys and girls, including his cheeky son, Bart. Paddy was one of the first chimps to arrive at Monkey World and has been leader for almost 30 years. The smallest group is Sally's. Only 4 others live with her. And then there are the rowdy bachelor boys, 15 males all living together, who like nothing better than playing rough and making a din. Recently, during one of their more boisterous sessions, Paco sustained a nasty injury to one of his toes. Chimps have a relatively high pain threshold and can often carry on with quite substantial injuries, but the usually strong Paco seems to be in pain. More worryingly, staff have also noticed he appears to have had a couple of funny turns recently, and the concern is that Paco may have an underlying heart condition. He needs a thorough health check, so specialist wildlife vet John Lewis has been called in.
Because there's been a suspicion raised against his cardiac function, we need to know if that's real or not, because if it is, we can probably medicate to improve things. If it's not, we'll leave him alone.
The team don't want to take any chances with Paco, so they've also called in local vet Dave Harding. Dave will perform an ECG plus an ultrasound and also treat the infected toe. If Paco does have a heart condition, John Lewis wants to keep his anaesthetic to a minimum, so rather than perform the procedure in the park's hospital, the team are going to do it in one of the bedrooms at the Bachelors'.
I'd rather anaesthetise him in the den, put him up on a shelf where the echo can be conducted by Dave from the local practice, and then if anything happens, we can instantly reverse him, support him down there. We don't have to move him back. We don't have safety issues. We don't have transport issues. So Paco's heart may be absolutely fine, but we're not going to take a chance.
Paco has been hand-injected with the anaesthetic by Cara, one of the primate care team.
That's okay, cool.
With the dosage kept to a minimum, John and Dave need to work quickly to get him intubated and in position so they can carry out both the heart tests and the surgery needed on the toe.
Right, let's see if we can get this ECG attached. Hang on.
The park's animal director, Jeremy Keeling, is on hand to assist the vets with the procedure.
That's better. There you go. You've got a trace there, John.
Dave is going to carry out the ultrasound first, but for the test to work properly, Paco needs to be manoeuvred into position. The bedroom's a bit of a tight squeeze, and with time against them, it's all hands on deck.
So what we want to try and do is get this bit down there. So we want him sort of lying on his right-hand side, head. Yeah. That's okay, I'm still right there.
Happy with Paco's position, Dave can now perform the ultrasound scan to check his heart.
Okay, the mitral valves look good. Okay, so that's the aortic valve in the middle, and that's the left atrium down the bottom there. So that looks pretty all right to me.
So what we're doing is we're looking at all the heart valves just to check that there's no evidence of any thickening of the valves, suggesting that there's some deterioration in the quality of how they're working, and also to see if there's any leakage of blood across the valves. They all look really quite nice. There's no evidence of any problems there. The heart's contracting nicely. So I'm pretty pleased with the way the heart seems to be functioning. The other thing that we're looking for is any areas where there might be some scarring on the heart, which may suggest some previous evidence of heart damage or in human terms, a heart attack. And we can normally see that as bright white areas within the heart muscle, and it all looks fine. So I'm pretty happy with the overall appearance of the heart.
A relief for the team, but Dave does still need to carry out an electrocardiogram, which measures the electrical activity of the heart.
There's nothing that concerns me. The heart rate's pretty normal. So I think we can be pretty happy that there's no major heart issue.
It's great news for Paco and the team. Finally, Dave takes a look at the injured toe.
Might be that needs bits of bone removing.
I'd cut that whole bit off. I think that's just going to cause more problems than good. It's not going to ultimately benefit him in any way, is it, having that flap?
Decision made, Dave wastes no time in removing what's left of Paco's toe. It's a quick procedure.
Hopefully now we've taken that flap off, it'll heal much better. It looks pretty good.
John gives Paco a reversal agent for the anaesthetic to bring him round. He wakes up looking a bit groggy and wondering what all the fuss is about. He'll soon be back on his feet, minus one little toe, and causing mayhem with his rowdy bachelor boy pals. At Tao's enclosure, the primate care team are about to give the Capuchins a tasty challenge. They've replicated something the group might find in their natural habitat.
It's a fake mound with holes in, which is these perspex pipes. We'll fill these with treats, and then the Capuchins have to use the sticks that we provide to dig into the holes to get to the food. Obviously, it's not grubs, doesn't work quite as well, but it's the same sort of idea.
In the wild, the mound would be teeming with termites, but today the tubes are filled with rice pudding and a syrupy Marmite concoction. Hopefully the Capuchins will love it and not hate it. Capuchins are known for their intelligence, coordination and tool use. In nature, they show remarkable skill termite fishing by poking sticks into the mounds. The termites automatically defend their nests by attaching to the sticks, and the Capuchins then pull out the sticks and eat the termites.
This is some twigs so that they can use as the tools to get the treats out of the tubes. They could go and search for them, but these guys kind of need a little bit of help. So we're hoping that if we put it in the holes to begin with, they'll take it out, realise that there's some food in there, and then it'll hopefully encourage them to re-stick it back in the hole again.
Curious Bubbles is first to take a look at this strange new object. But she ignores the sticks, instead choosing the easy option. Tao's second-in-command, Bruce, is next to check out the mound. He gives it the full inspection and even pulls out a stick to get to the treat. But then discards it, so obviously a Marmite hater. Close, but not quite there. Meanwhile, leader Tao seems more interested in technology than joining in. Once content that the little camera is no threat, he moves on. As leader and protector of 16 ladies, he has his work cut out, though he's not short of admirers, as Daisy and Ruby love to flirt with him. It's left to Debbie to show the rest how it's done. She's quite high in the group's hierarchy and a big favourite with Tao. She's also proving to be highly intelligent. At first, she uses just her hand to claw out the treats, but after stepping back and thinking through the problem, she successfully comes up with a solution. She inserts the stick not just once, but goes back for more and more. Like the others, Debbie came from a lab, but was born in the wild, not captive bred, which may explain her natural ability. Dominant female Babe, however, has got the wrong end of the stick with this task. Fifi is doing what Capuchins love to do, foraging in the undergrowth for worms and bugs. And even the cleverer ones get it wrong sometimes. In her enthusiasm, Debbie grabs the wrong end of the stick, but then realises her mistake and is straight back to enjoying the yummy porridge.
These guys are so intelligent, and anything that we can give them to try and encourage them to use that really powerful brain and work things out is really important. So yeah, it's always nice to do something different, and when you see them getting stuck in, it's really, really good.
Alison is just arriving back at the park with 4-month-old marmoset Moon, a victim of the British pet trade. The team are hoping that, because she's still a baby, one of the established marmoset pairs at the park will adopt Moon as their own.
Hey, little girl.
Is she definitely a girl?
No.
Hello.
Determining the sex of a marmoset is always a challenge, but at such a young age, it's almost impossible.
It's gonna be a boy, isn't it? It's always a boy.
There's definitely a little point.
Little girl.
Little boy.
Little boy. Is that?
You think?
It is?
I am thinking. There's one. It's questionable. At this age, it's really hard to tell whether Moon is a boy or a girl, but we're sort of leaning more towards boy right now. So, hi. Hi, you. I know. She or he's got his blanket in there that has his scent on, but to be quite honest, he's just adapted to the branches and everything really well. So I think he'll be okay in here for tonight. And tomorrow we can start with intros.
Once settled, Moon will be introduced to adult pair Solomon and Hazel. Solomon came to the park in 2001, whereas Hazel was born here. Now a happily established pair, the team are hoping that they'll take little Moon under their wing. For now, Karen will keep monitoring Moon and decide when to start the introductions, but it's looking very promising for the little newcomer, even if no one is quite sure whether to address Moon as he or she.
She actually looks pretty good. She looks in pretty good condition. Obviously very active, very lively, very confident. Yeah, fingers crossed it all looks bright for him. He's at a good age that we can hopefully do sort out a little family for him.